Namaskar everyone. It's almost past 10 days that we have celebrated our International Women's Day on 8th March and celebrated it, adulated, praised the presence of women in our lives by all our strength. But now, as a society, we are back to our business. We are back on criticizing or on questioning the dressing sense of women, that what is the need of wearing a ripped jeans. But nonetheless, I'm not going to dwell onto all that stupidity or nonsense. In this ITM episode, I'm going to dwell on a topic which is for the women empowerment, one of the most important aspect, and that is their economic participation. It's about female labor force. It's about how to revive female labor force participation, which is consistently declined over the past decades. In my video, there would be three portions or three parts. First one is about the stats and figures related to female labor force participation, for which I would be using FLFP as an acronym. Remember that. Number two is about what are the social norms behind the curtains that act as barriers for this FLFP. And number three is about the policy recommendations or measures which government and society can take to transform these social norms and revive this FLFP. So my whole video, first of all, let me tell you, is based on a report done by Akshita Sharma, who is a part of Social and Political Research Foundation. And if you want to read this full report like me, then you can do so by going onto the description box and clicking on the link provided by me there. So friends, starting with the stats and figures related to FLFP. See, there are 656 million women in India, almost half of the total population, but still FLFP has consistently declined over the past 2 decades. Only 1/5 of the female population is engaged in the workforce, which is one among the lowest in the world. Female labor force unemployment rate is as high as 5%, but when the pandemic of COVID-19 struck in amongst us, then this unemployment rate soared up to as high as 17%. In rural-urban divide, you would be seeing that urban women are more prone to unemployment than rural women. And when you look at the data that what kind of work these women are engaged in, then you would find two interesting observations. Obviously, there would be many more things, but two amongst them would be, number one, that more than 50% of female workers in rural areas are self-employed, which this figure lowers down to almost 34.7% in urban areas. And when it comes to rural areas, second observation would be that 32% are regular wage earners, while 10% of them are casual workers. But when it comes to the urban settings, more than 50% of the female workforce is in casual workforce. There is also a paradoxical situation with respect to the Indian women, that we as a society and nation has improved on the gender parity index considerably over the years. Education and literacy levels among women has gone up. Health as a women has gone up. But what has gone down is the FLFP. And this has corroborated us to the fact that there are many other factors than this gender parity index which needs to be looked upon and improved upon. And amongst them is FLFP. And what is stopping it or what is pulling it down are the social norms behind the curtains. So moving to my second part. See, my friends, in India, social norms surrounding women dictate that they are primarily caregivers. Their main role and main task is to look after the children, look after the household chores, tend towards elder people, and to care for whosoever is ill in our family. Hence, their place naturally belongs to home, not workplace. Social norms structurally restrict women from economic participation at all throughout their life. A study conducted in rural and urban parts of Delhi, Mumbai, Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan found that about 50% of the individuals believed that if a husband earns decent and enough income, there is no need for a woman to work outside. And alarmingly and shockingly, especially to me, 75% of the individuals agreed to a statement that when a mother goes outside and work, the children suffer. So when a mother is that such norms are facing, then you would find very interesting fact that these kind of social norms are prevalent much more in urban areas and much more in upper caste households than in rural areas with lower caste households. So that also leads us to a fact that FLFP in urban India and amongst the upper caste people is much lower than compared to rural areas. Women also suffer restrictions on account of mobility due to safety concerns, obviously. And as their household responsibilities persist, their autonomy is further limited because of limited access to the bank accounts and mobile phones. Very shockingly, till now in India, only 53% of the women have their own bank accounts. And I believe that there may be so many women, major chunk of this 53%, who won't even know how to manage their bank accounts. See, there is also a problem at the governance level. There is a problem with our labor laws. In our labor laws, number one provision is that women can't work in night shifts. So that restricts the employers like factories or some establishments from hiring women. Number two is that there is a provision of paid maternity leave of 26 weeks. Obviously, that would be very difficult for any establishment, any business, especially startups, to hire women in that condition. So this whole and all discourages the business industry, entrepreneurs to hire women. So these are the problems. Now coming to my third part about the policy recommendations and measures to transform these social norms and to revive this FLFP altogether are: number one, defeminization of unpaid care and care work at home should be done. For this, Chapman suggests that innovative policies like paid paternity leaves at par with maternity leaves shall be encouraged so that gender norms are not reinforced. Number two, what can be done is that important to shift views about masculinity amongst male, that men don't feel afraid or threatened by women's better earning capacity. Number three, to facilitate women networks, cooperation, and ensuring the freedom of mobility amongst them, as these are better indicators for their economic participation. Number four, ensuring social security and their safety at workplace as well as the homes as well as the commotion. And number fifth, last for my video but not the least, obviously, ensure women's control over their own money, and that is very very important, for which government should, instead of focusing on cash transfers as you would be seeing in the election manifesto of political parties for this electoral run up into 5 states, that they are offering some cash incentives to household women, 1500 per month, 500 per month, many more than that, but these are not useful than what they can provide as capital in kind to those women, as we have found that women entrepreneurs have got much more higher returns when capital is provided to them in kind. So altogether these are some recommendations, but I know that they can't be more and most, as there can be much more we can do, but these can be the starting point that we as a society and our government can do for the betterment of women. And see, we talk so much about women empowerment these days, but this is the time that we better our ecosystem, that we create an ecosystem in the workplace as well as in our homes for getting the real empowerment of women. And that's why there is an urgent need to revive this declining FLFP in India. Thank you. So thank you for watching my whole video. If you like it, then please like it and share it and subscribe it. And always If you want to comment anything about my video, about the issue, you should surely comment on it. Thank you and have a nice day.